Success does not come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. A very good morning to one and all present here. We welcome you all to the grand finale of Quiz Kenya 2020. First, we would like to congratulate all our finalists who have made up till here. The teams are Team A, Tanjore Thanos from Tanjavur Medical College. The participants are Kritik Sanjay, Sandeep Selvakumar, and Jaya Abhirami. Team B is 50 Shades of Blood from Madras Medical College. The participants are Emima Gracia, Karthikeyan, and Krishnan Karthik. Team C is Heme Hazers from Government Medical College, Pudukkottai. The participants are Monisha Mukunda Rao, Kavya B, and Pranav M. Team D is Red Rum from ESIC Medical College, Chennai. The participants are Rohit Balaji, Cendric Sam, and Meenakshi. Team E is Brainstorms from Keelpok Medical College, Aditya Tamil Selvan, Rashika Madhu, and Lisha Shri. Team F is the finishers from the Thoothukudi Medical College. The participants are Gunanidhi B, Prasanna Kumar, and Siddhi Siddharth. Congrats all of you. Now let's go through the general rules of the quiz. So there will be 5 rounds for the finals. Round 1 is history round. Round 2 is identity. Round 3 is clinical scenarios. Round 4 is functional anatomy. And round 5 is celebrities and their blood disorders. The scores of the team will be announced after every round of the quiz. The quizmaster's decision will be final and binding. Genuine doubts, if any, may be clarified at the end of the quiz. All the participant teams must keep their camera on throughout the quiz. The audio should remain muted except while answering. The team with the highest aggregate points at the end of the quiz shall be deemed the winner. In the event of 2 teams sharing the first place, a tiebreaker round will be conducted in the form of buzzer round, and the teams will be asked 3 questions. If the tie still persists, the round will continue and with 3 more questions being asked. In the event of a continuing tie, the round will continue with single questions until a winner emerges.
A quick reiteration of the rules before we begin. I'd like all of you to switch your cameras on and remain with your cameras on throughout the duration of the finals. Please note that timing will be strictly followed. Answers given after the timer dies will not be accepted. The quizmaster's decision will be final and binding. Complete answers are expected in certain rounds. By complete, I mean complete. Let's say the answer is red apple. Red will be termed an incorrect answer, and the same about apple. Both these will be termed incorrect. What we expect is red apple as the complete answer. Am I clear on that point? You can score only with the complete correct answer. Otherwise, the quizmaster will say incorrect, and any other team which gives the correct answer will get the score. Be very careful in the buzzer rounds, which have now morphed into hand-raising rounds. You know about the hand-raising option that's there, right? Yes? So if you want to answer the particular question that the quizmaster has asked, you can raise your hand through that and the quizmaster will call you. Once you're called, you have to immediately answer. There cannot be a time lag. If there is a time lag, it will be deemed that you have not answered the question and you will end up with a negative score. You are not allowed to withdraw a raised hand after you press it. So if you choose not to answer after that, you will lose points. Please be aware of this rule as well. The specific points for each round and the rules applying for each round will be elucidated in detail by the quiz masters before they proceed with each round. So what I have highlighted here are the general rules that I want you to keep in mind as you proceed with the quiz. Let me congratulate each of you here. We saw an impressive performance in the prelims, and we expect an equally impressive performance here. All the best to each and every one of you. Welcome.
I welcome you all to the first round of Quizemia, the history round. So this round will have two rounds, okay, sub-round, that is round 1 and round 2. So let us get into the round 1. Am I clear? Is my voice clear? If you have any problems, please unmute yourself and tell it now itself, please. Okay, fine. So I'm proceeding with the round 1. So let us see the rules here. So here in the round 1, a discovery will be given, and the scientist who discovered it has to be identified from the choice of the picture given. Okay, so there will be 4 options as a picture. You have to tell the correct option as A, B, C, or D. If you know the name of the scientist, you're very well welcome to say the name if you know it. But please note that won't be considered for the marks. So the correct option will be given the right mark. Okay. So each team will get 1 question in round 1. So first question will go to team A, and the second to team B, and it goes on like that. The time allotted for answering the question is 30 seconds, and scoring will be 30 points for a right answer, and there is no negative marking. Please note it is 30 points for a right answer, and there is no negative marking. There will be no passing of questions, and each team can give only 1 response during their turn. Okay. So response after that, and we won't give any other choice also. Okay. All set. So let us see a sample question. Okay, so this is a sample question. So the discovery is a question. Okay, who discovered electricity? And you will be given 4 options as pictures. The team A, for example, must tell the right option here from this. If you know the name of the scientist, I'm telling it once again, and if you don't know, it's not a problem. We still give you a mark. Okay. So the timer is for 30 seconds. At the end of 30 seconds, the team must give their answer. They must unmute yourselves and give the answer. Okay. So the right answer here is. So as soon as I finish reading the question, the timer will start, and at the end of 30 seconds, you must give the right answer. Okay. I think we're ready to go. So the first question. Okay, 1 second. Okay. All set. Any doubts? So the first question is to team A. Okay. Who discovered that plasma cells generate antibodies? Your timer starts now. Team A, you can answer in between also. The options only.
Option A.
I'm sorry. Let us see the answer. That's a wrong answer. So the right answer is option C, Astrid Fagerius. Fagerius' doctoral thesis, Antibody Production in Relation to the Development of Plasma Cells, attracted international attention and became a milestone in modern immunology. The Swedish Society of Medicine rewarded her its rare distinction, the Jubilee Prize, in 1950. Okay, so Team A gets no point for this round. So the next question is to Team B. Who discovered antibody class IgE? Your timer starts now.
Is it option B?
B for ball?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. The right answer is option A, Kimshige Ishizaka and Terako Ishizaka. So the Ishizakas discovered the antibody class immunoglobulin E in 1966 and its interplay with the mast cells. They demonstrated the IgE's critical role in mediating the release of histamine from mast cells. Their work was regarded as a major breakthrough in understanding the allergies. Okay, so Team B gets no point. So the next question is to Team C. Who discovered the function of platelets in coagulation? Your timer starts now.
Option D.
Option D. That's the right answer. So the right answer is option D, Guilio Bezzero. Guilio Bezzero is credited with the discovery of function of platelets in the coagulation of blood. He described the relationship between platelet adhesion, aggregation, and subsequent formation and deposition of fibrin. Okay, so Team C gets a point of 30 for this round. Okay. So the next question is to Team D. Who discovered the anti-RH vaccine? Your time starts now.
C?
Yes, that's the right answer. So the right answer is William Pollack. Option C. William Pollack developed the RHO immunoglobulin vaccine against the RH disease, a leading cause of erythroblastosis fetalis. His vaccine, introduced in 1968, virtually eliminated cases of RH disease in developed countries. So Team D gets 30 points. Okay. So the next question is to Team E. Who discovered the Bence-Jones protein? Your timer starts now. Team D?
Is it?
Sorry, Team E.
Sorry, ma'am.
Option A.
Your answer
Option.
is- Yeah, that's the right answer. So the correct option is option A, Henry Bence-Jones. In 1847, Henry Bence-Jones described the Bence-Jones protein, a globulin protein found in the blood and urine. Bence-Jones protein is suggestive of multiple myeloma or Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. Okay, so Team E gets 30 points. So the last question goes to Team F. Who first described the MHC? The timer starts now. Team F.
Option B, ma'am.
B for ball.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The right answer is option B, Peter Gorer. The first description of the major histocompatibility complex were made by British immunologist Peter Gorer in 1936. He also identified the antigen 2 and determined its role in transplant tissue rejection. Okay, so team F gets 30 points. So we have come to the end of round 1. So round 2 is different from the round 1 of history. So let us see the rules here first. So teams will get the chance to choose their question. Okay, so you will have pictures of the scientist in a question menu, and the questions are related to the scientist you select. You must choose a picture out of it. Here we have provided you numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So please tell the number. Okay, it will be noted. Okay, fine. Each picture leads to the setting of a discovery and 2 questions following it. Each question carries 15 points, so 30 points totally. No negative marking. Total time allotted for answering both the questions is 30 seconds. Okay, note, total time allotted is 30 seconds. There is no passing of questions in this round as well. And each team can give only one response during their turn. So if you tell it wrong once, it's wrong. We are not going to consider your second answer. Okay. So let us see a sample question. This is a sample question. So I will be reading the story here, and 2 questions will be there, and you have to give the answer for this. Okay. Timer will start after I stop reading the question. Okay. So I'm starting. In 2732 BC, Emperor Shen Nung discovered tea when leaves from a wild tree blew into his pot of boiling water. He was immediately interested in the pleasant scent of the resulting brew and drank some. Legends say that the emperor described a warm feeling as he drank the intriguing brew, as if the liquid was investigating every part of his body. So what did Emperor Shen Nung name the brew, and what is its meaning? Your time starts now. You did not give the answer. This is just a sample question, okay? So you, at the end of 30 seconds, you must give answer to both the questions, okay? Within 30 seconds, you must give the answer. So the right answer is cha, the Chinese character meaning to check or investigate. So this is a sample question. This is how the rest of the questions will be. Okay. So now the first question will go to team B. They will get the chance to choose the question from the question menu. And the next question will go to team C. So team A will be the last here. Okay. Any doubts? So team A, the third person is not visible. Yeah, okay. Okay. Team B, please choose a picture. Note, the question you select, the question will be corresponding to the scientist you select. Okay, it is related. Please note that and choose. Team B. Team B, again, the third person is not visible. Sorry?
We'll go for 2, Anton van Leeuwenhoek.
2. Option number 2. Okay. So 2. The third person is not visible. Team B, please. Yes. So, okay. Option 2. A brilliant Dutch microscopist, Antoine van Leeuwenhoek, was the first to publish in Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society in 1675 a remarkable description of the unique features of dash. He stated that when he was greatly disordered, the globules of his blood appeared hard and rigid, but grew softer and more pliable as his health returned. So identify the entity discussed above. Who was the first to observe this entity in 1668 before Leeuwenhoek in frog's blood using a microscope? Your time starts now.
Is it RBC?
Okay, the second answer,
Robert Hooke.
Robert Hooke. Okay, let us see the answer. The right answer is RBC, human RBC, and the person who discovered it saw it in the microscope before Leeuwenhoek was Jan Swammerdam. So team B gets 15 points for this round. Their second answer is wrong. Okay? Okay. Now the question goes to team C. 2 is already taken. So you can choose from the rest. 5?
First one.
1. Okay. The first use of this term appears in the conclusion of German Jewish physician and scientist Paul Ehrlich's article, Experimental Studies on Immunity, published in October 1891, which states that if two substances give rise to two different dash, then they themselves must be different. So your questions are, what term did Paul Ehrlich use here? What theory did Paul Ehrlich propose as a trigger for the production of antibodies? Your time starts now.
Chemical theory. So second one.
Chemical theory. Please be clear again. Chemical theory. Team C?
Yes,
Time
for the
to
second sub question.
Okay. Let us see the answer. So Paul Ehrlich gave the term antikörper, which is literally meaning the antibodies. So he proposed a side chain theory or the lock and key theory for production of antibodies. Okay. So I'm sorry, Team C, you get no point for this round. So the next question goes to Team D. So 1 and 2 are taken. You can choose from the rest. Team D.
We'll take 5.
5. Okay. In the late 1880s, Russian scientist Mechnikov identified specialized cells which had high motility in the starfish larvae. He wrote the following about his groundbreaking observation. I fetched from it a few rose thorns and introduced them at once under the skin of some beautiful starfish larvae as transparent as water. I was too excited to sleep that night in the expectation of the result of my experiment, and very early the next morning, I ascertained that it had fully succeeded. That experiment formed the basis of dash theory, the development of which I devoted the next 25 years of my life. Identify the specialized cells referred here. In immunology, Mechnikov is given the epithet of dash. The time starts now.
For the first option, it's phagocyte. For the second question, father of natural immunity.
Okay, so let us see the answer. So the right answer is the cell referred there was a phagocyte, and Mechnikov is the father of natural immunity. So Team D gets it right, and you get a 30 point. Okay, for this question. So the next question goes to Team E. So 1, 2, and 5 are taken. Please choose the rest.
3, ma'am.
3. Okay. In the early 1900s, hematologist Dr. Lucy Wills observed a correlation between the dietary habits of different classes of Bombay women and the likelihood of them becoming anemic during pregnancy. Though then known as the pernicious anemia of pregnancy, this anemia, which Dr. Wills observed, was different from true pernicious anemia in the absence of achlorhydria and no response to treatment with pure liver extracts. Dr. Wills fed rhesus monkeys the same diet as these anemic women, which made them anemic too. When she tried a yeast extract in the diet, the monkeys made a remarkable recovery. So, what was a causative agent known as until the 1940s? What was the yeast extract used by Dr. Wills, which was also included in soldiers' rations during World War I? Your time will start now. Team E.
Is that A, fishworm, and second is that Saccharomyces.
Okay, let us see the answer. So the right answer is Wills factor or vitamin M. This is now called as a folic acid. Previously, it was the Wills factor or vitamin M, and the yeast extract which Dr. Lucy Wills tried was Marmite. It is used as a spread. Okay, so Team E gets no point. So the next question goes to Team F. You have 4 and 6.
Option 4, ma'am.
Okay. In 1906, Paul Carnot and his student de Flandre showed that injecting a small amount of the serum of a previously bled rabbit resulted in a considerable increase in RBCs after injecting them in the normal rabbits. They also found that while the serum from an animal that had been bled was active, that of a normal animal was not. What was the name given by them to this entity which was responsible for their experimental finding? What was the microscopic finding they observed in this experiment? The timer starts now. Team F? Team F, please give your answer. The time is up. I'm sorry. Let us see the answer. So the factor they found out was hematopoietin, hemopoietin otherwise. They found the increase in reticulocytes as a response to giving the rabbits hemopoietin. Okay, so Team F gets no point in this round. So the last question goes to Team A. So you are left with option number 6. Jesuit priest Father Acosta in 1569 was the first to note breathlessness, dizziness, and vomiting among people living in highlands. In the 19th century, French physician Denis Jordanet moved to the highlands of Mexico, where he studied the symptoms of chronic mountain disease. He found that the patients had thickened blood, while their symptoms were similar to those of anemic persons. He coined the term to this condition. What is the term that Jordanet coined? Jordanet and his colleague Paul Burt believed that the thick blood of high altitude residents were inherited. This was disproved by a French physiologist. Who was this physiologist? The timer starts now. Team
First
A.
one, Anoxy him, first one.
Okay. And 2? Timer is up actually. Okay, let us see the answer. So the right answer is barometric anoxyheme or barometric anoxemia. And the physiologist was Francois Gilbert Biot. 1 second. Give marks for the first one. Okay, please wait a minute. So team A, you have given only anoxemia. So the correct answer is barometric anoxemia, and so we will not give you any points. Okay. So team A gets no point. I'm sorry. So
Ma'am, he
Yes.
named only Anoxy, ma'am. That also correct. Term coin.
sorry, we've already mentioned that we need a complete answer.
But the term he coined was actually anoxemia. He did not use the word barometric.
Okay. Okay. Wait for the results. We'll just let you know. Okay. Sorry, we're not willing to give the mark actually. It's the right answer is barometric anoxemia or anoxemia. Okay, I'm sorry, team A. So this brings us to the end of round 1. So we have the scores of the first round. So after the first round, team A is yet to score. Team B has scored 15 points. Team C 30 points. Team D 60 points. Team E 30 points, and Team F 30 points. So with that, we'll move on to round 2. So round 2 is hidden identity. So let's take a look at the rules of the round. So in this round, each question will have 4 picture clues from which you have to identify a disease or a syndrome. Only the complete right answer will be accepted. We repeat again, only if you give the complete right answer, we will accept the answer. The score will be 30 points for a correct answer and minus 10 for a wrong answer. So this is a buzzer round. You have to press the raise hand option to answer the questions. The team pressing the raise hand option first gets the chance. So participants must give the answer as soon as they raise their hand. So immediately you have to give the answer. If you don't, we will not consider the answer. So you can buzz only once within the specified time limit. The time limit will be 30 seconds. So as soon as the question is displayed, the timer will start. So in this round, you have a bonus scoring. If you answer 3 questions consecutively correct, you will get 30 points extra as a bonus. So after every question gets over, you should lower your hands. Don't forget to lower your hands. So we'll start. So question 1, identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Hereditary spherocytosis.
So the correct answer is hereditary spherocytosis. Picture A shows a defective RBC membrane. Picture B shows osmotic fragility test showing increased fragility. Picture C is a peripheral smear showing spherocytes with no central pallor. And picture D shows pigmented gallstones. So team B will be getting 30 points. The next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Follicular lymphoma.
Yes, your answer is right. So the correct answer is follicular lymphoma. Picture A, it shows the most common form of indolent non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in United States. Picture B shows that 90% of the follicular lymphoma has translocation involving 14-18 chromosomes. And picture C shows the nodular aggregates of lymphoma cells in lymph nodes. Picture D shows centrocytes and centroblasts in lymph nodes. So you have scored 2 right answers. Very good. So you get a point or 30 points you get now. For this question, they get 30 points. Okay. So next question, identify the disease or syndrome. Correct answer is Langerhans cell histiocytosis. So picture A is an electron micrographic picture showing the Langerhans cells with the characteristic bed-by granules. Picture B, CD1A, which is a specific marker for the Langerhans cells. Picture C shows the erythematous skin lesions. Picture D is a radiograph demonstrating numerous osteolytic lesions in the skull. So we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team F.
Multiple myeloma.
Sorry, wrong. Team D.
Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia.
No, wrong. Team A. No, your answer was not. So team E. Okay. So team Team A and B will be getting minus 10 points because you didn't answer immediately.
No, all the others. All the others.
Okay, team F, D, A and B, all 4 teams will be getting minus 10 points.
Ma'am, team B didn't bounce this time. We didn't press the hand.
Raise your hand, but
That was for the previous one. I didn't put that down.
you should have lowered your hands. We informed it before itself.
So please make sure after every question to lower your hand.
Okay, now let's take a look at the correct answer. The answer is Poem syndrome. Picture A shows polyneuropathy. Picture B is a radiograph showing hepatosplenomegaly. Picture C shows gynecomastia. And picture D shows elevation of M protein. All of them are lower. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
This is.
No, your answer was not needed.
Which team is it for?
It was for team B. You didn't answer. Team C.
Answer immediately.
Iron deficiency anemia.
Yes, your answer is right.
Team C. Minus 10 for team B.
The correct answer is iron deficiency anemia. A is a peripheral smear showing microcytic hypochromic cells and poikilocytes. Picture B shows angular chelosis. Picture C shows FEP, which is free erythrocyte protoporphyrin elevated. And picture D is the egg of ankylostoma duodenate, which is a frequent cause of iron deficiency anemia. So team C gets 30 points and team B gets minus 10 points. Now let's move to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Burkitt's lymphoma.
Yes, your answer is right. The correct answer is Burkitt's lymphoma. Picture A shows Dennis Parsons Burkitt, the Irish surgeon who first described the disease in 1958. Picture B shows the electron microscopy picture of Epstein-Barr virus. Picture C shows a massive jaw lesion. And picture D shows the starry sky appearance under microscope. So team B will get 30 points. So we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team C. Yes?
Aplastic anemia.
No, wrong. Team B.
Which team is it? Team B or D?
Team D.
B for ball.
Fanconi
Fanconi
anemia.
Yes, your answer is right. The correct answer is Fanconi's anemia. So the bone marrow biopsy picture shows aplastic anemia. D is a short stature or dislocated hips or microcephaly. Picture C shows a cafe-au-lait spot. Picture D is a chromosomal study showing formation of radial figures with mitomycin C. So team B gets 30 points. We'll move on to the next question.
Getting minus. C is getting minus.
Team C gets minus 10 points and team B gets plus 30 points. So we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Is this CREST syndrome?
No, wrong. Team C. It's not immediate. Team C. Team D.
Hyper IgM syndrome.
No, wrong. Team E.
Waldenstrom microglobulinemia.
Yes, your answer is right. So the correct answer is Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. Picture A shows high levels of circulating IgM in the serum. Picture B shows the lymphoplasmacytic picture in the peripheral smear. Picture C shows the mucosal bleeding. And picture D shows the Raynaud's phenomenon. So after this question, teams B, C, and D get minus 10 points and team E gets plus 30 points. So next we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Disseminated intravascular coagulation.
Yes, your answer is right. So the correct answer is disseminated intravascular coagulation. So picture A shows it's a coagulation disorder. Picture B shows sepsis is the most common etiology. Picture C shows peripheral blood picture showing histiocytes. Picture D shows elevated D dimer. So team B gets plus 30 points. So we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team E.
Hairy cell leukemia.
No, wrong. Team B.
Which team is B or D?
Team D for ball.
Hairy cell
No,
leukemia.
wrong. Team D.
Hodgkin's lymphoma.
No, wrong. Team A. Okay, team C.
Anaplastic large cell.
Team C.
Sjogren syndrome.
What?
Sjogren syndrome.
No, wrong. So the correct answer is Rosai-Dorfman's disease. So picture A shows normal histiocytes as a site of origin. Picture B shows a marked propensity in African Americans. Picture C shows a bilateral, painless cervical lymph nodes enlargement. And picture D shows the lymphophagocytosis. So teams E, B, D, A, and C will be getting minus 10 points. So we'll move on to the next question. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team A.
Sézary syndrome.
Yes, your answer is right. The correct answer is Sézary syndrome. Picture A is a micrograph showing cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. Picture B shows a generalized lymph node involvement. Picture C shows a pleomorphic abnormal T-cell with characteristic cerebriform nuclei. And picture D shows the erythroderma. So team A will be getting plus 30 points. So we'll move on to the next question. This is the last question of this round. Identify the disease or syndrome. Yes, team B.
Team B or D?
Team B, B for ball.
Polycythemia vera.
Yes, your answer is right. The correct answer is polycythemia vera. Picture A shows a point mutation in tyrosine kinase JAK2. Picture B is a peripheral smear showing polycythemia. Picture C shows a massive splenomegaly due to extramedullary hematopoiesis. And picture D is erythromelalgia, burning pain in the hands or feet. So team B gets plus 30 points. Okay. Now we've come to the end of this round. Please wait for the scores.
Clinically, in case the trachea were to be deviated, what information can you draw from it?
If the trachea is deviated toward the side of pathology, it indicates a fibrosis or collapse of the lung.
If you use the coagulation current on skin, it is going to burn the skin, right? So we use the cutting current for skin.
This single radiation source is going to rotate around the tumor. As it does that, it is going to adjust the beamlets.
It will not allow for full extension because the injured part of meniscus will prevent the gliding of femur on tibia.
She is going into the planes of anesthesia and I have holded the mark. This is called as triple maneuver.
Whenever there is absent end diastolic flow, termination of pregnancy should be done at more than equal to 34 weeks.
This leads to the activation of the C1 complex, which will now cleave the C4 complement protein into C4a and C4b.
When the patient lowers the pitch, you will see the shortening of the vocal cord, the relaxing of the vocal cord. That is the vocalis.
When it inhibits enzyme enolase, this can be used for blood sugar estimation.
This is a patient with complete heart block, okay? And there you can see that the Cannon waves are actually regular.
These are the steps of real-time reverse transcriptase PCR, which is most widely used in all molecular biology techniques.
Inferior turbinate is a separate bone. It is not the part of ethmoid bone.
Again, we are with the scores. Scores for hidden identity. For team A is 10. Team B scores 140. Team C scores 0. Team D gets -30. Team E gets 20. And Team F gets -10. This is for the round hidden identity. Okay, welcome to the third round. The third round is clinical scenarios. We'll go with the rules. Round 1. Okay. Rules for the clinical round. 2 direct questions per team, 1 in each of 2 rounds. Teams get to choose their own question. There will be a question menu and you will be choosing your own question. Fine. Time allowed for answering is 45 seconds. A correct response gets 60 points. And this is a pass round. The question passes to the next team with a decrement of 10 points from the previous team. That is, if team A is getting a question and if they are answering, they scored 60 points. If they are not answering and it is getting passed to team B, if they answer correctly, they will get 50 points. Am I clear? Yes. This is again a bonus round, bonus scoring. That is 1 question in round 1, another question in round 2. If a team is going to answer both the questions correctly, they'll be getting a bonus of plus 20 points. Am I clear? Now we'll move into round 1. Team C. Now the opportunity is for team C to select a question first. Team C. Oh, team C has selected Telegram. We'll see the question. Okay. Now that brings us to the clinical scenario. A 22-year-old male was admitted in the medical ward for fever, myalgia, swollen right leg, lower leg, and feet. The joints were non-tender. The CBC shows hemoglobin 9.8 gram per deciliter, MCV 69 femtoliter, MCHC 29%, platelet count is 850,000 per millimeter cube, and the WBC count is 3,800 per millimeter cube. Serum ferritin is 4 nanogram per ml. Serum haptoglobin is 15 milligram per deciliter. The urine analysis shows blood are present in the urine. Sediment showed brown particles which took blue color when stained with Prussian blue. What's the diagnosis? The time starts now. Team Z, the time is going.
Sideroblastic anemia.
Sorry, that's the wrong answer. Okay, now Team D, you can try. Team D.
Drug-induced intravascular hemolysis.
Sorry, be clear.
Drug-induced intravascular hemolysis.
You're wrong. Team E.
Is that PNH, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria?
Yes. Team E answered it correctly. It is paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, and they get a score of 40. Answer. The answer is paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. Okay. Now, Team D gets opportunity to now select. Telegram is over. You can select it from the rest 5.
Instagram.
Okay. A tea shop worker, 52-year-old male, was admitted in the medical ward with high fever for 3 days, which was not responding to regular treatment. Clinical examination revealed altered sensorium and petechial spots over the forearm. Both liver and spleen showed moderate enlargement. There was also generalized lymphadenopathy. Examination of oral cavity showed gingival hyperplasia with bleeding. The CBC showed total leukocyte count of 33,000 per millimeter cube, hemoglobin of 8.3 gram per deciliter, platelet count of 42,000 per millimeter cube. Blood smear showed large cells with large nuclei made of delicate chromatin. 2 to 3 nucleoli were seen. These cells constituted 45% of the total WBC. What is the diagnosis? Your time starts now. Mention the diagnosis with subtype.
AML M4.
Sorry, that's the wrong answer. Now the next team, Team E.
Is it AML?
Team F.
AML M1.
No. Team A.
AML M5.
Yes. Team A goes with the correct answer. It is AML M5. So Team A get 30 points. We'll see the answer. It's acute myeloid leukemia M5 subtype. Okay.
What's up?
Team B. Team E. Team E has selected WhatsApp.
Sir.
Okay. Look at the question. A 14-year-old girl came to medicine OPD complaining of cough with expectoration, breathlessness, and chest pain. There was the 4th episode of respiratory tract infection in 2 months. and the physician ordered a chest X-ray. On careful physical examination, a deep axillary lymph node was palpable, non-tender. It was biopsied and the diagnosis was made with the help of Mason's trichromacy stain. Confirmation was done by Marcus. Give the diagnosis, naming the variant. Your time starts now.
Nodular sclerosis Hodgkin lymphoma, which is lacunar type of cell.
Yeah, you're right. Team E gets 60 points. We'll see the answer. It's Hodgkin's lymphoma, nodular sclerosis subtype. Okay, right. Now the opportunity is for Team F. Team F, please select one.
So Snapchat.
Snapchat. Okay, we'll go with Snapchat. Okay. A 30-year-old pregnant woman came to OBG OPD with complaints of severe headache preceded by aura, reduced urine output, and severe joint pain, recurrent blurring of vision. The patient gave past history of idiopathic early fetal loss, less than, that is 10 weeks, in 2 consecutive pregnancies. Obstetric score of G2, P0, L0. Clinical examination, edema of face and peripheries, along with lace-like purplish discoloration of skin and varicose vein appearance on the right lower limb. The patient had been on treatment with anticoagulants for DVT, which she had stopped abruptly 2 weeks earlier. Following this, the symptoms aggravated. The patient had also noted sudden weight gain from 68 to 77 kg over a period of 2 weeks. Laboratory diagnosis showed Coombs positive hemolytic anemia and positive anti-cardiolipin antibody. What's the diagnosis? Your time starts now.
Sir, antiphospholipid syndrome.
Okay, Team F has scored 60 points. It's the right answer, but yes, it's antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. Fine. We'll go with the answer. It's antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. Okay, next. Now the opportunity is for Team A to select one.
Twitter.
Okay, we'll go with Twitter. A 4-year-old girl was admitted for fever and the diarrhea for the past 2 days. From this morning, she started vomiting and also has severe abdominal pain and cramps. Of late, her parents have noted bloody streaks in the stools. Patient was given IV fluids and stool sample was sent for microscopy and culture. Laboratory diagnosis showed hemoglobin 12.5 gram per deciliter. Total leukocyte count is 12,800 per millimeter cube. Platelet count is 4,70,000 per millimeter cube. In the evening, she became restless and developed altered sensorium. A few ecchymotic spots appeared in the limbs. BP was 160 on 100 mmHg. The nurse reported reduced urine output. Repeat lab values showed hemoglobin reduced to 10.2 gram per deciliter. Total leukocyte count increased to 15,500 per millimeter cube. Platelet count increased to 56,000 per millimeter cube. Blood urea 56 mg per deciliter. Creatinine 2.2 mg per deciliter. Urine showed blood positive. That is, blood was seen in urine, and blood picture is shown in the picture side. What's the diagnosis? Your time starts now.
Hemolytic uremic syndrome.
Yes, you are right. Team A scores 60. We'll see the answer. It's hemolytic uremic syndrome. Okay. Now it's for Team B to select one. Yes, it's Facebook. Okay. We'll see the clinical case scenario. A 4-year-old boy has been restless for the past 10 days and now complains of pain when picked up by his mother. He exhibits irritability when his arm or legs are touched. In the past 2 days, several large ecchymoses have appeared on the right thigh and left shoulder. CBC showed HB, hemoglobin 10.2 gram per deciliter, hematocrit 30.5%, MCV 96 femtoliter, platelet 45,000 per millimeter cube, WBCs 13,990 per millimeter cube. The peripheral blood smear showed large cells which contain pass positive aggregates and stained positively for TDT. Flow cytometry shows the following phenotypes of blasts to be CD10 positive, CD19 positive, CD3 negative, and cytoplasmic IgM. Of the genetic studies, the hematologist opines that a translocation present in this case is a cause for worry but can be treated with a specific drug. What's the diagnosis? The time starts now.
Is it ALL? Acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
It's team B. Team B has answered acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
Yeah, ALL.
Please specify the subtype.
L3.
No, wrong. Team C. Team D.
BALL.
Yes, Team D has scored it correctly. We'll see the answer. Okay, we are with round 2. Round 2 is same as round 1. All the rules applied in round 1 applies to round 2 also. Fine? Okay, we'll go with the question. Team D gets the opportunity to answer, to select the question. Team D.
Goku.
Okay. Go. Okay, we'll go with the question. A 10-year-old boy has been on vitamin B12 supplementation for 2 months, as his blood picture showed megaloblastic anemia. He also has moderate gastric ulceration, suggestive of gastric atrophy, but tested positive for anti-intrinsic factor antibody. Other findings in the child include a positive Babinski sign, loss of tendon reflexes, and gait disturbances. Despite the B12 supplementation, the child showed no improvement and anemia worsened. Hematopathological findings, decreased neutrophil and thrombocytic counts, nucleated RBCs, and Howell-Jolly bodies are seen. Biochemical findings were suggestive of renal impairment and tested positive for presence of protein in urine. What is this pediatric malabsorption syndrome? The timer starts now. Team D.
The worms.
Sorry.
Riflobotium latum.
No, wrong. Team E. Team E. Team E, want to try? Team E. Team F.
So,
Team E. Yes, Team E.
Is it a folate deficiency, malabsorption?
No, sorry, wrong. Team F. Team F. Wrong. Team A.
Celiac disease.
Wrong. Team B.
Imersul Grasbach syndrome.
Yes, it's correct answer. Team B goes with the answer. We'll see the answer. Team B has scored 20 points. It's Imersul-Grasbach syndrome. Okay, now it's Team E.
Naruto, sir.
Naruto. Okay. Here is the clinical scenario. A 5-month-old baby is brought to the pediatric OPD with profound pallor. The child is in a state of stupor and shows a characteristic increase in ventilation, especially of tidal volume, cosmal respiration. Investigations, serum urea and creatinine levels are elevated along with a mild increase in serum liver enzyme levels. Peripheral smear, neutropenia and thrombocytopenia with prominent presence of ring desideroblasts. RBCs are increased in size, indicating macrocytic anemia. Bone marrow shows presence of vacuolated erythroblasts and myeloblasts. Biochemical examination shows elevated erythrocyte protoporphyrin and HbF. Stool examination shows presence of fat in the stool, steatorrhea, indicating exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. What's the diagnosis? The time starts now. Team E.
Is it Pearson syndrome?
Please be clear.
Pearson syndrome.
Please give the complete answer.
Pearson pancreatic insufficiency syndrome.
Okay, you get the score. Team E gets 60. We'll see the answer. It's Pearson marrow pancreas syndrome. Okay. It's Team F. Please select one.
Sir, Nezuko.
Nezuko. Okay, we have the clinical scenario. A 50-year-old patient comes to GM OPD with physical disability from early morning stiffness and typical pain in MCP and PIP joints. His serum tests positive for anti-CCP antibodies. The patient is put on methotrexate and other DMARDs. In a week's time, he presents with pustules from a severe bacterial infection. Clinical examination reveals swelling of the left flank. Splenectomy is contraindicated in this patient. What is the diagnosis? Your time starts now.
Sir, rheumatoid arthritis.
No, wrong. Team A.
Pelty syndrome.
Yes. Team A gets a mark. It's Pelty syndrome. Team A gets 50 points. We'll go with the next. Now it's again Team A's opportunity to select a question.
L.
L. We'll go with L. Here with the clinical scenario, an 18-year-old female patient approaches dental OPD for tooth extraction. The dentist, on observing oculocutaneous albinism and multiple blisters and bruises on her skin, refers her to a general physician. To the physician, she gives a history of easy bruising of the skin, frequent epistaxis, and bleeding episodes even on minor trauma, and also metromenorrhagia. Clinical examination and investigations reveal that she has pulmonary fibrosis and inflammatory bowel disease. Histopathology shows infiltration of ceroid pigmented reticular endothelial cells in the lungs and colon. Bleeding time is prolonged and a fibrotic pattern is found in lung biopsy. What's the diagnosis?
Chidiac-Higashi syndrome.
No, wrong. Team B.
Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome.
Yes, Team B has answered it correctly. Team B will be getting the score. Okay, the answer is Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome. Team B has scored 50 points. Team B. Now, again, it's Team B's opportunity to select a question.
Which is left?
1 and 5. Midoriya and Edward Elric. Midoriya. We'll go with Midoriya. Clinical findings in 3 patients are as follows. Patient A is brought to pediatric OPD with complaints of non-specific illness and facial rash since 3 days. The erythematous macular rash has now spread to the extremities with lacy reticular pattern, and child has severe pallor and slapped cheek appearance. Patient B, a primigravida woman, approaches the obstetric OPD with a complaint of white discharge per vaginum, severe tiredness and fatigue. Excessive paleness of skin and nail bed with mild rash were noted on examination. Patient C, a 30-year-old male diagnosed with TB and put on isoniazid therapy for the past 6 months, comes for review visit to the GM OPD. His cough has subsided, but severe pallor is noted. Next. Laboratory findings. Microbiology showed no positive findings in patient B and C, but patient A is tested positive for parvovirus B19 infection by PCR. Pathology, peripheral blood smears showed normocytic normochromic erythrocytes in all 3 patients. Bone marrow biopsies revealed normal megakaryocyte and myeloid cells and a complete absence of erythroblasts. The diagnosis in all 3 patients is a common pathological condition. What is it? The time starts now. Next. Here is a clinical scenario. You can refer it.
Is this pure red cell aplasia?
Yes, you are right. Team B gets 60 points. The answer is pure red cell aplasia. Team B has scored 60 points. Okay. Now, Team C, you are left with Edward Elric. We'll go with that. Okay, here is a clinical scenario. A 20-year-old male who was a karate fighter and an athlete approached GM OPD following a regular training session with complaints of severe tiredness, fatigue, nausea, vague abdominal and back pain. Also thigh pain, which didn't settle even on hot water bath. He also gave complaints suggestive of neuropathy, that is burning sensation in the soles of the feet, which subsided a little on immersion of the legs in cold water before and after training. Urine examination showed appearance of red and dark colored urine. Blood test showed total bilirubin 2 mg per deciliter, elevated serum lactic dehydrogenase, and peripheral blood smear gave a picture of microcytic hypochromic anemia. What's the diagnosis? Your time starts now. Team C. Team C, are you with an answer?
Microangiopathic hemolytic anemia.
Sorry, wrong. Team D.
A macroangiopathic hemolysis, also known as MOD hemoglobinuria.
Yes. Yeah, you are right. Team D gets a score. Let's look at the answer. It's March hemoglobinuria. And Team D has scored 50 points for this question. We have come to the end of this round.
So the scores for the clinical round: Team A 140 points, Team B 220 points, Team C is yet to score, Team D 90 points, Team E 190 points, and Team F 60 points. So the overall cumulative score of the 3 rounds: Team A 150 points, Team B 375 points, Team C 30 points, Team D 120 points, Team E 240 points, and Team F 80 points. So we'll move on to the next round.
The last round is celebrities and their blood-related disorders. Now we look into the rules for this round. The rules are: a celebrity's pick and a clue to their illness will be given. From this info, the right answer has to be deduced. Only the complete right answer is acceptable. I repeat, only the complete right answer is acceptable. This is a buzzer round, hand-raising round. The participants must press the hand-raise option. The teams that press the hand-raise option first gets the chance. And only one participant from a team must raise their hands.
Next.
Next slide. The participant who raised the hand must answer as soon as he is called. This is important because discussion is not allowed after hand raising. Failing to answer immediately means the question passes to the next person. The time limit is 30 seconds. The teams can buzz as long as the timer is on. A team can buzz only once within the specified time limit. The timer will start once the question is displayed. The scoring is 30 points for the correct answer and minus 10 for a wrong answer. You should answer as soon as I call out your names. And you should unraise your hands at the end of the question. The first question. Identify the disorder associated with the celebrity. Team D has raised their hands first.
Abdul Kalam has CML.
Yes, right answer. Next slide, please. Team D, please lower your hand. Team D, lower your hands. The right answer is CML. Karam Abdul Jabbar, born April 16, 1947, is an American retired professional basketball player. In 1996, he was honored as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. He is considered the greatest basketball player of all time. Defective reciprocal translocation, T922, Q34, Q11 of genetic material between chromosomes 9 and 22 forms a fusion gene called BCR-ABL1, which causes CML. We'll move on to the next question. Identify the disorder. You can start buzzing. Time up. None of the teams have raised their hands. You'll be getting no points for this round. We'll move on to the answer for this question. The right answer is Klippel-Trenaunay syndrome. The person is Casey Martin. He is an American professional golfer and the current men's golf head coach at the University of Oregon. This syndrome is a triad of nevus flammus, venous and lymphatic malformations, and soft tissue hypertrophy of the affected limb. Port vein stain or nevus flammus is a discoloration of the human skin caused by capillary malformation in the skin. They are so named for their coloration, which is similar in color to port wine or fortified wine from Portugal. Now we'll move on to question number 3. Be ready to buzz as soon as you. Team B has raised their hands. Answer, please. Please unmute and answer.
This is SLE, butterfly rash.
Right answer. Team B has answered correctly. Team B will be getting 30 points. The answer is systemic lupus erythematosus. Toni Michelle Braxton is an American singer, songwriter, pianist, record producer, actress, television personality, and philanthropist. SLE is an autoimmune disorder with varied etiologies. Malar rash is pathognomic of SLE. We'll be moving to question number 4. Team C. Team C, answer please. Minus.
Thalassemia.
Right answer. You will be getting 30 points. The answer is beta thalassemia. Pete Sampras is an American former professional tennis player, a right-handed player with single-handed backhand. His precise and powerful serve earned him the nickname Pistol Pete. Beta globin, also referred to as HBB, beta globin, hemoglobin beta, is a globin protein which, along with alpha globin, makes up the most common form of hemoglobin in adults, HbA. Mutations in the gene produce several variants of the proteins, which are implicated with genetic disorder beta thalassemia, as well as beneficial traits such as genetic resistance to malaria. Next question. We'll be moving to the next question. Team F has raise your hands first.
Acute promyelocytic leukemia.
A right answer. 30 points for Team F. The answer is acute promyelocytic leukemia. Anurag Basu is an Indian reality show judge, director, actor, screenwriter, and producer. His notable works include Murder, Kites, Burfi, and Jagga Jesus. Our rods or odd bodies are large crystalline cytoplasmic inclusion bodies in myeloid blast cells, mostly seen in acute promyelocytic leukemia. Composed of fused lysozymes and rich in lysosomal enzymes, our rods are azurophilic and can resemble needles, commas, diamonds, rectangles, corkscrews, or rarely granules. We'll be moving to question number 6 now. Team B has raised their hands first.
This is Vincent van Gogh, acute intermittent porphyria.
Right answer. We will be getting 30 points for this question. The answer is acute intermittent porphyria. Vincent Willem van Gogh is a Dutch post-impressionist painter who is among the most famous and influential figures in the history of Western art. He suffered from AIP, which occurs due to deficiency of the porphyrobilinogen deaminase. It is the most common of acute porphyrias. Next question. Team C has raised their hands first.
Lisa Ray multiple myeloma.
Can you repeat again? Team C?
Lisa Ray multiple myeloma.
Right answer. The answer is multiple myeloma. Lisa Ray is an Indian-Canadian actor, author, columnist, model, performer, philanthropist, social activist, television and theatre personality. Ms. Ray also has raised funds for the establishment of the first research chair for multiple myeloma at Princess Margaret Hospital in Toronto. Multiple myeloma, also known as plasma cell myeloma, is a cancer of plasma cells. It produces typical knockout lesions in the skull. Next question. Team A has raised their hands first.
Hodgkin lymphoma.
Right answer. Team A has answered correctly. The answer is Hodgkin's lymphoma. James Earl Connor is an American football running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers of the National Football League. Reed Sternberg cells are giant cells found in Hodgkin's lymphoma. They are usually derived from B lymphocytes. Team B gets 30 points. 9th question. Team B has raised their hands first. Team B,
Hemophilia.
which type? I need the complete
Type royal disease. Type A. Type A. Hemophilia A.
answer. Team B. Team B.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, it's a wrong answer.
Hemophilia A.
Team,
Hemophilia A.
wrong answer. Team F,
Hemophilia B.
right answer. Team F has answered correctly. They'll be getting 30 points. The answer is hemophilia B or Christmas disease. Prince Leopold, Duke of Albany, was the 8th child and the youngest son of Queen Victoria. He had hemophilia B, which led to his death at the age of 30. Hemophilia B is a coagulation disorder caused due to deficiency of the coagulation factor 9. Hemophilia was once popularly called the royal disease. We'll be moving to question number 10 now. All right. Show your hands. We'll be moving to question number 10 now. Team B has raised their hands. Team B,
This is Murph syndrome, Argyria.
wrong. Wrong answer. Team A,
Fletcher family.
wrong answer. Team B,
Fletcher's family.
wrong answer. Team A. Okay. And none of the teams have answered correctly. We'll look at the answer now. The answer is hereditary methemoglobinemia. The Fugates, a family that live in the hills of Kentucky, also known as the blue Fugates, are notable carriers of methemoglobinemia, which gives the sufferers blue-tinged skin. Methemoglobin gives the blood a chocolate color. We'll move on to the next question. Team B has raised their hands first.
Sickle cell anemia.
Right answer. Team B will be getting 30 points. The answer is sickle cell anemia. Miles Dewey Davis III was an American jazz trumpeter, band leader, and composer. He is among the most influential and acclaimed figures in the history of jazz and the 20th century music. This will be the last question for the round. Team B has raised their hands first.
Is this purpura TTP?
Wrong answer. Team D. Team D. Team D hasn't answered. So Team F,
Idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura.
right answer. Team F will be getting 30 points. Other people will be getting -10. The answer is idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. Jonathan Houseman Davis, also known as JD, J Devil, or the J Devil, is an American singer and musician. ITP usually presents with petechiae due to thrombocytopenia.
The abdominal ultrasound, some fluid in the pouch of Douglas was seen and the appendix was not visible. So the physician has suspected that maybe, she's a case of appendicitis. He calls the surgeon. Again, they are of the opinion that this probably is a case of appendicitis. But still, to be a little more careful, he calls me and I go and I see that patient. When I opened this patient, when I put the laparoscope inside, I could see blood everywhere. There was hemoperitoneum and there was this ruptured ectopic. we could save this patient because we suspected that it could be a case of ruptured ectopic. And so many times in the differential diagnosis of ruptured ectopic, we have been repeating that one of the differential diagnoses is acute appendicitis. Patient of ruptured ectopic can present to you as a case of appendicitis as well. Whether you are a physician, whether you are a surgeon, whether you become a pediatrician, whether an orthopedician, you are going to get female patients. And if you are going to get female patients, you have to know your obs and gynae properly. And when I say obs and gynae properly, what I mean is you have to know your concepts properly, because ultimately it's a big responsibility on you. You have to treat the patients. That is why you are studying. You are not studying because you have to clear an exam. And that is exactly what we aim in Marrow Edition 5. In Marrow Edition 5, we aim to clear your concepts so that you become a good clinician.
This cryo probe has been introduced into the external os. Just hold on and look here. When you have put carbon dioxide or nitrous oxide at very low temperatures, what has happened? The intracellular water has started freezing, and that is exactly what you are seeing over here. This over here is ice being formed, right? So now what is happening is that there is freezing of the tissues, and the intracellular water will freeze, and that will lead to destruction of the tissue around the cryoprobe.
There's a tie between Team A and Team F. The tiebreaker is going to be a buzzer round. So remember, you need T1. The competition is only between Team A and Team F. No other team should raise their hands. It's strict, and Team A and Team F only should raise their hand. Is that fine? Okay. And the rules is a single answer is required to get a score of 30. So if you're going to answer correctly, you're going to get 30. If you're not going to answer, or if you're going to answer wrongly, you're going to get minus 30. Fine? Yes. Now we'll get into the question. Okay. This set one will be having three sets of questions. At the end, we'll be calculating the marks and we'll be getting back to you. Fine? Okay. Here's a question. A 20-year-old girl approached dermatology OPD with complaints of abnormal pigmentation on the skin and recurrent bacterial and viral infection, which was suggestive of immunodeficiency. Okay. Team A, what's the answer?
KDR-PRSP syndrome?
Wrong. Team A gets minus 30. We'll see the answer. The answer is Grisly syndrome. Okay, we'll see the next question. A 25-year-old man visited GMOPD with complaints of oral and genital ulceration. On inspection of the mouth, the physician made out streaks of ulcer on the mucosal lining with central yellowish necrotic base. In genital areas as scrotal scars and ulceration, less common on glans penis area. On whole body inspection, the physician could make out folliculitis, erythema nodosum, and pyoderma gangrenosum like findings on the skin due to repeated bacterial infections. Team A.
Behcet disease?
Yes. Team A has answered it correctly, so Team A will be getting plus 30. Okay. Now we'll see. The answer is Behcet syndrome, and we'll go with the next question. Indolent lymphoma is a group that includes follicular lymphoma, marginal zone lymphomas, and small lymphocytic lymphoma. The treatment of indolent lymphoma depends on the stage of disease and clinical status of the patient. In the treatment strategies of indolent lymphoma, radioimmunoconjugate that fuse anti-B cell monoclonal antibody with radioactive nuclides can produce higher response rates than monoclonal antibodies. One such radioimmunoconjugator is. Time starts now. You can buzz. Estimate.
Iodine 131, Darcy to Mobab.
No, wrong. T may gets minus 30. We'll see the answer. The answer is yttrium 90, ibrutinib, tioxetine.
Sir, the toxicity also a radioimmuno only, sir.
Sorry, this is the answer. We'll get back with the score shortly.
A pleasant afternoon, everyone. This is Akshada Srikumar here, and with immense pleasure, present the valedictory program of Quiz Hemia. Now we are at the end of this wonderful event. I extend my hearty congratulations to all the quizzers for their enthusiastic participation. The scores have been put together, and now we have the winners. Second round gets rupees 3,000 cash prize, Marrow Plan C subscription for a year, and books from Elsevier and Wolters Kluwer. And the first runner-up gets rupees 6,000 cash prize, Marrow Plan C subscription for a year, and books from Elsevier and Wolters Kluwer. The winner gets rupees 9,000 cash prize, Marrow Plan C subscription for 3 months, and books from Elsevier and Wolters Kluwer. All the participants of the quiz get 5 days of Marrow free trial. I thank our sponsors, Tagore Medical College and Hospital Rakshana Award, Association of Physiologists of Tamil Nadu, Marrow, Elsevier, and Wolters Kluwer. Now I request Professor Dr. Vijay Devanand Ma'am, President APT, Professor and HOD Department of Physiology, Stanley Medical College, Chennai, to announce the prize winners. Please, Ma'am.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to one and all. I congratulate the organizing team for conducting this Quiz Hemia 2020 in an online edition. Thank you, Dr. Preetha Paul and the team. You had worked hard for the whole few days, rather, to conduct this program. And I take the privilege to announce the most awaiting results, as all are waiting to know who is the winner. So now, starting from the second runner-up, the team, the finishers, Thoothukudi Medical College, comprising of Gunanidhi, Prasanna Kumar, Sibi Siddharth, are the second runner-up, Thoothukudi Medical College. Congratulations to Thoothukudi Medical College. The first runner-up, the team, Brainstorms, Kilpok Medical College, comprising of Aditya Tamil Selvan, Rashika Madhu, and Lishastri. Congratulations to the KMC team. And the winner is, as expected, 50 Shades of Blood, Madras Medical College. Yeah. So, comprising of Emima Gracia, Karthikeyan, and Krishnan Karthik. Congratulations to all the teams who participated. Nice. We conducted, it was waiting for almost, it was the start of the COVID period when we had planned for this. And when all the colleges were closed, were shut down due to the COVID. And now it has reopened and we are able to conduct this on online edition as such. Thank you, Preetha, the whole team. Thank you all. As President of Association of Physiologists of Tamil Nadu, I congratulate all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Tirupati wants to say something. Dr. Sattu wants to say something.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Yes.
Thank you, the organizers, the excellent program which has been conducting regularly. I thank APT leaders who are leading the physiology. Thank you, madam. In spite of your busy schedule, Dr. Vijay Devananda has taken the successful steps to conduct all these programs, academic programs. I congratulate the partners, participants, and as well as the winners, especially our successful team consists of Karthikeyan AG, Emima Gracia J, Krishan Karthik RC. Congratulate the winners as well as the runners from KMC and Thoothukudi Medical College. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. One of America's finest tennis players, Jimmy Connors, says that, I think my greatest victory was every time I walked out there, I gave everything I had. I left everything out there. That's what I'm most proud of. We understand for a fact that giving our best is the most important part of every competition. And so I extend my hearty congratulations to all the participants and winners of Quiz Hemia. I also wish the best for them in their future endeavors. Now I would like to call upon our HOD ma'am to say a few words. Please, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. We started the program in the morning, and now at 3 p.m. or so, we have come to the close of the program. It has been an eventful day. I'm happy to have been able to organize this event and be part of the proceedings. This is the first time the UG quiz has gone online. And I'm happy that the prelims yesterday went off really well. We saw enthusiastic participation by the teams, and then we had a lot of work putting the scores together and releasing them. The inaugural this morning went off well, and then we had the quiz that also went off well. I especially want to thank the participants because everyone maintained the decorum of the event, and we felt that all our hard work had finally paid off. Though COVID-19 put a stop to our original plans and we had to, restart and work again. We literally worked double to make this happen, but it has happened and I praise God for that. I appreciate the effort of the entire team that has pulled with me in making this event happen and in making it a success. I wish to personally thank our management, Chairperson ma'am, Secretary sir, Dean sir, for all their support and encouragement and help with the logistics. I wish to thank APT members, especially Vijay ma'am, for all the support and encouragement. And at this point, I also wish to thank all the faculty members of so many different colleges all over Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, who specifically stood with me when the quiz came to a sudden stop last year. I really appreciated all those expressions of solidarity, which helped sustain us through that difficult time. Thank you, each and every one of you who sent me WhatsApp texts, email messages. Some of you even called up. Thank you so much for that. I wish to thank my department staff who have literally been on their toes for the past 2 weeks, perhaps more. Thank you so very much for all the effort you put in. I wish to thank my student volunteers who stood with me as much as my team did. Thank you so very much. Your help cannot be replaced because so many things, digital, technological, virtual, which I'm not so well versed with, you were able to help me with. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank all the guests who logged in for being with us and supporting us through this event. Before I sign off, let me congratulate all the participants. As I mentioned before, participation is very important and everybody here is a winner in the sense that you have learned something. So there are no losers so far as Quiz Hemia is concerned. Of course, especially I want to congratulate the winners because they have definitely worked hard. The enthusiastic participation was something to behold. We really enjoyed the buzzer rounds and the beautiful way in which the teams were buzzing and bursting out with the answers. Congratulations to each and every one of you. We will be couriering the certificates, compliments to all the participants who registered and the prizes to the prize winners shortly. Thank you very much. once again, from the bottom of my heart, to each and everyone here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeta.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your kind words. I would like to thank everyone for being present and making this event a grand success. Thank you. You may all log out now. Thank you once again for your participation.